Your website is the mousetrap. Your content is the cheese. Welcome to Content Matters with Barry Feldman and Andy Crestodina.
You got mail. You got cold mail. You got a random request from someone you hardly even know asking you to do a whole bunch of favors for them. Happens every day. And it's a bad form of outreach. Outreach matters, but you got to do it right. Today's episode of Content Matters is all about how to not lose friends and how to truly influence people by being considerate in your outreach. We're going to cover some lazy, stupid, and ineffective outreach tactics that invade your email, your direct messages, your LinkedIn inbox, and many other places.
That was good stuff. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. See you later.
All done. That was an easy one.
Yeah.
But this is we're going deeper, and it's going to be good because this is something that a lot of people get wrong, and that we all see evidence of done poorly every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to call out maybe not specific people, but specific messages.
Yeah, tactics. I mean, I don't know if everybody sees it every day, but people that have blogs and content hubs and influence are who people seek for influencer marketing. And you can do that well and you can do that poorly. This is a little bit of an atypical podcast from us because we're such nice guys and we're usually like cramming as much, useful information down your throat as possible. And this is mostly like, how to not do it because it's so top of mind, because it's so prevalent. But, hopefully that also sort of opens the door and gives you ideas for how to do it instead.
Yeah. And doing it well is a very good thing because outreach and collaboration and networking are all really important, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Why do you or me or the people that are invading our inboxes each morning and filling out our contact forms, why are they doing that? What's the big deal?
Good question. Well, there are many reasons why we could just say influencer marketing is a white-hot topic in content. And it's not a new thing when you think about the trends in PR. I mean, digital PR is basically the same thing. It's about outreach. Sometimes I think before it was called influencer marketing, we had just kind of called it blogger relations. But the idea is this. There are people out there who have built an audience that it would be lovely to connect to. And that person may have connected to an audience that is exactly your target audience. And if you can just borrow a little bit of love from them, you can unlock the door to connect to a much larger, maybe super targeted group. And that's why people do outreach. It's for search benefits. You might get a link. It's for social benefits. They might endorse you or share you with a big group. And it's for credibility benefits because it's sort of the halo effect. You're attaching yourself to their brand.
Yeah, you didn't leave much out, so I don't have too much to add. But also I think done well, it's for networking benefits, right? You make a new friend.
That is not to be understated. Friendship is kind of the point that we should come back to at the end here because when you do it well, that is truly the legit outcome that you should be striving for.
So we're in our inboxes in kind of the gross, I better erase this or trash this as fast as possible file. And I think because you have a high-rated blog and mine's, strong and getting stronger. We both get these, and I imagine some of our listeners do too. Is there's a lot of these, but the one that I'm seeing the most lately is they want me to retroactively return to a post that I've written because they read it or said they did, and I should create a link to their piece or page or post or infographic because it would make it better. That doesn't sound like ridiculous, but the way they handle that usually is.
Please link to me. Is that the email you got?
Yeah. Please change your post to include my content.
Oh, that's classy, right? It's I don't know you, but why don't you share your website's authority with me and link back to me? And my very first contact to you is sort of like saying, why don't you do something super nice that kind of puts you out of your way a little bit, and even though you have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Super weird.
So who the hell's doing that? Whose job is that? Is that a robot? Is that a person?
Well, Okay, I have taught the tactics that can lead to bad cold emails, and they're, when done well, they're totally ethical and sustainable and very smart. But it has to do with using social media as a giant phone book and finding super specific people that can give you long-term indirect benefits. And then sending very considerate outreach to slowly build relationships with people. I wrote a post once called 35 Ways to Connect with Anybody. But what these people are missing is the 34 steps that come first, right? There are all kinds of little ways to build a relationship with someone, and these cold emails miss it completely. I'll admit, I've done a lot of outreach, although I do it in a super high-touch way, and I'm actually doing lots of offline and face-to-face and friendship making. But there's a tool that I use, and not a strong endorsement, but it's a very useful tool if you're doing big outreach. It's called Ninja Outreach, and it actually includes pre-written templates, which a lot of people out there might even see in their inboxes. There are tools that have already written these emails, these cold emails that you're getting slammed with all the time, and I've got some right in front of me I could read to you. They're comedic at some point. I mean, one of these things is done so badly that it didn't even replace the parameters, right? It's like, I'm going to read this. This is ridiculous. I got it this morning. Hello, I am contacting you because of a new scholarship opportunity for the university name students. Like, university name wasn't even replaced with an actual university name. It's me. They're asking me to link to a page about scholarships on a website, and it's like not much better than hello first name. Like, it's literally, they messed up the tool, and it's didn't even replace the semi-personalized fields with the default parameter. I mean, it's just ridiculous and embarrassing and ineffective and a waste of time that actually hurts their brand more than helps it. It's worse than useless.
Yeah, so there's the you should go back to an old post and link to me thing. There's the you should allow me to guest blog on your blog.
Mm-hmm.
And you should, I mean, the list kind of goes on, but I see the red flag absolutely immediately when the first line, you covered a one of those first lines, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I asked about robotics or automation, because a lot of times, like, it says that they read your piece and they really didn't, and there's a link pasted in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be a piece you wrote like 10 years ago or something. But the first giveaway for me is when it says, my name is Dan. I'm like,
Yep.
Done. Like, see ya. You know, why do I care what your name is? You know, can't you start off with something that I do care about and it isn't going to say your name at the bottom of this email?
Yeah, it's like you answer the phone rings, you pick it up, and the first thing the person says is, "Hi, how are you today?" That's a cold call. You know, that's a cold call. No one does that. That's not normal. Here's an email that I got that Amanda just shared with us. Amanda Gant, marketing pro here at Orbit. Hope you're doing well. I am blank from blank company. Yeah, first same thing, Barry, right there. They start with their name. I have read some of your posts about topics X and Y. All of it are definitely helpful. I thought you may want to add our infographic to one of your posts in blog. I highly recommend it since infographic makes the info more appealing, attention-grabbing, and lessens boredom. I attached the infographic here for your easy reference. I will also include a short content to go along with it. This is just horrible, like grammatical catastrophe. It's collapsing here.
Yeah, I kind of like the I attached it thing, though. At least you don't have to go fishing for it.
Yeah, there's no link. The link just looks like it's a fishing with a PH tactic. I would really appreciate if you could reference us as the author by linking to the original blog. Here is the link to link to, and they add a link. If you're interested or not, I would still have your feedback. Thank you, and take care of you.
Yeah, I can't top that. If we had a couple hours, I guess I could take it apart. But let's talk about like the do's and don'ts. I think, first of all, I asked the question, who do you think you're talking to, right? And so, I don't mean to sound obnoxious or arrogant about that, but who do you think you're talking to? Is it obvious that you know who you're talking to? If you're writing an email to Andy Crestodina, have you read his book? Do you read his blog? Do you comment on his blog? Do you Do you know what he blogs about or where he speaks? And so I think the best thing you could do, instead of telling me your name and how I can help you, is telling me that you, who are about to ask a favor of me in terms of my content marketing powers, actually understand what I'm trying to accomplish with my blog or content hub or whatever, and how you can help me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you just take those steps first, there are so many little ways that you can warm up that would have been cold email. Example, follow the person, share their stuff, comment on their blog, like their stuff, write a review for them somewhere. Here's an easy trick. If anyone's a podcaster, not that we're seeking reviews, it'd be nice, but that's not why I'm saying this. Or if the person's an author, write them a review on iTunes. They'll be forever grateful. Or if they're an author, write a review on Amazon. They'll be forever grateful. There's just hundreds of little ways to build up a little bit of awareness with the person, connect with them in different social networks, and then just interacting with them in basic ways. Ask them a question, like chat on social media a little bit so that they're a little bit aware of you before you make an ask. That makes all the difference. Help the person first. Whatever you want from them, give them that first. You want them to share something of yours, you should be sharing a lot of their stuff. You want them to come on your blog, go write stuff on their blog. It's a world of reciprocity, and it's not like the internet isn't some giant mutual back scratching society, but we should seek to be helpful first. I would never ask someone for something unless I sort of knew them, and it's so my goal is always to give before I expect to get anything at all.
Yeah. You're a part of an infographic I did called 22 Influencer Marketing Tips from Influential Marketers. And as is Doug Kessler, who's the go-to man for killer quotes. He says, before you ask somebody to be a shiny cog in your something, I don't remember exactly the words, be a shiny cog in theirs. And so your point is the best point we could possibly make on this podcast. Get on that person's radar, before you're asking for a favor, give a favor, or at least don't be a stranger. If we're all sort of interested in the growth and development and popularity of our own content. All you'd have to do to get on my radar is make a blog comment. I'll know about it.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. So I think if you do that, beyond that, the request can include a certain set of things that make a huge difference. First of all, be brief. If you're sending an email to someone or even writing a LinkedIn message, please be brief. The long message, most people struggle to keep caught up on email. So don't give them homework by expecting them to read 500 words, or 1,000 words. Also, be specific. Be specific. What are you asking that person for? How much do you need from them? When do you need it by? So that is much more likely to get a response if you tell the person, hey, I know you're busy, but if I could just get 50 words on this topic within the next 2 weeks, that would be wonderful. I'd be so grateful, and I could include you in this thing that I'm working on, and I would happily share this with everyone I know because it'd be such an honor to have your voice in my content. Very useful, right, to be very specific about it. And like we just said, you need to be helpful first.
Yeah, be grateful, follow up. But here, how about this? Be traceable. Most of those emails come from somebody that sends you a Gmail address, and therefore, if you're interested, well, does this person a good blogger, or do they have a decent website? That's an unanswerable question. You don't even know what their last name is, or their first name or their full name. And so, one of those requests, obviously very common one, is I would like to write for you. And that should be flattering if it's sincere. And so there's a lot of questions you need to be brief and to the point and straightforward about when you send me that. One is, who are you? What have you written? And what are your ideas? And I think that third idea is the most important. When I ask for a lot of guest blogging opportunities, and I do not say, can I guest blog for you? I say, would you like to see this story? Or I say, here's a story you will like to see. And so these people are just fishing. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they have a website or blog, and they want me to do all the work.
Yeah.
And I'm usually reading those because they came in the middle of the night, and I'm reading them the first thing in the morning when I have 100 emails, and I'm not going to do the work. I'm just simply going to trash the email.
Yeah, it's you don't want to give. You're going to be unsuccessful if your marketing strategy is to give homework to strangers. That's just not going to work. That never worked. I don't see how that doesn't make any sense at all. So I wouldn't do that. But something about so people are wary of these cold requests, and I'm related, but not super directly related. I think a lot of people are afraid of spam and should be, and people are afraid of LinkedIn spam, which is why a lot of people are very restrictive about who they decide to connect with in LinkedIn. I take the opposite approach. I think that people should be a lot more permissive about who they connect with on LinkedIn. And here are my rules for LinkedIn. If I get a connection request from anybody in marketing in anywhere in the world, I will accept that because there's industry relevance. Or if I get a invitation to connect from anyone in Chicago in any industry at all, I connect to that person because there's geographical relevance. That has led to a very large LinkedIn connection network for me, which I'm very grateful for and happy about, because LinkedIn is not just about an online resume and it's a messaging platform, but it's also a content promotion platform. I think that people are actually too restrictive about connecting on LinkedIn because they're so afraid of LinkedIn spam, when in reality, I don't think LinkedIn spam is that big of a deal. I have 7,000 connections and I get a spammy request message maybe twice a week. It's nothing like email, and these spammers use email scraping systems that will find your email address somewhere, and pretty soon you're getting tons of email from people pitching you guest posts, people you don't know. But I think that this has led to a chilling effect on how people are connecting on LinkedIn, and I think that's a bad idea. I recommend that people open it up and get many more connections.
Yeah, I think I pretty much feel the same. I don't think of LinkedIn as maybe what I used to, in that, we hang out and we know each other. So if you want to follow or connect, I'm game. If you have marketing in your title, I'm game.
Mm-hmm.
If you have sales in your title, I'm a little suspicious. If you have
recruiting,
sales,
careful about
marketing.
them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't deny too many requests. A lot of the requests are from students and so forth, but whoever I accept, and I guess I accept about, 3 to 10 of those per day. They have a short rope, and the rope breaks very quickly if the same day I get a sales pitch,
Yeah.
They're not trying to build relationships. They sort of, hooked me into allowing them to spam me.
And then you just unfollow or disconnect, whatever.
Delete conversation and blacklist. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That's LinkedIn's probably not useful for this, but I don't know. They do it all day, every day. Maybe once in a while it works. All right. So where are we in time for our?
I think it's cheese time.
It's cheese time. All right. Well, one thing I wanted to say that we didn't cover is that I think the best thing you can do if you are asking me as the owner of a publication to give you an opportunity for a link or a news story or something like that, the inclusion of your infographic or what have you, could be an interview, could be a lot of things. You have to tell me why it's a good idea. So I guess I covered that a little bit earlier to the extent that what I'm trying to say is, I got one not too long ago. It said, "Hey Barry, your blog would be perfect for my stuff about travel photography." I'm like, oh my God, I've never mentioned travel or photography, but otherwise I think I'm following you. So
except for that, yeah. I'm perfect.
Read the frickin' blog. It's about digital marketing. Try to figure out the topics I cover, who I'm trying to communicate to, what's missing, and how you can embellish it. Okay. So now for cheese.
Yeah.
I think this is, this is in keeping with the idea that we're trying to help you if you are indeed doing influencer outreach and you want to succeed at it. Is you have to have content. Okay. You have to create a portfolio. I mean, you could do that old school kind of messy, here's a bunch of PDFs or Microsoft Word documents. That's not ideal. But, one step above that is you can put your stuff on SlideShare or Medium or LinkedIn, and then the ultimate step is if you want to tell me you're a great blogger and you should be on my blog, then show me your blog, show me your best pieces. And so, this influencer marketing thing is very reciprocal, as you mentioned earlier. And so don't make me work hard to evaluate your writing chops. If you're not going to send me a piece that's ready to go, at least send me a short sample of your best work.
That's really important. And I think it's very difficult for people that don't have some decent general online presence to get accepted anywhere. If you want to be accepted as a guest blogger, anybody looking you up should be able to find beautiful, polished, sparkling examples of writing as soon as they search for your name. And back to LinkedIn, if you're doing any kind of outreach at all, spend a good hour polishing your LinkedIn profile with a professional headshot, a relevant title and beautiful description, some good endorsements, a good recommendation or two. Because just imagine what happens next. So yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And do your homework, warm it up first. You can reduce the cold email effect by understanding who you're talking to, building a relationship with them first, and making your personal brand. We'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. Making your personal brand look good online. Great point. I'm on to mousetraps, so that was the cheese tip, the mousetrap tip to improve your conversion rate. Here's how to improve your conversion rate, which is partly what we've been talking about here, for doing high-level pitches to big-time editors at major publications. Here's how to get accepted at Forbes and Inc. and Entrepreneur Magazine and VentureBeat and all these places. The best tip I know for this comes from Aaron Orendorf, who has a great way of making it a no-work proposition when you send this email to whoever you've connected with over there. And that is to pitch the entire completed piece. It's brilliant. It's against what I used to think, right? You don't create an opportunity to collaborate by letting them, bounce ideas off you for 2 weeks. What Aaron does is he writes beautifully formatted, highly evolved concepts that are 95% complete and ready to be published. And he sends that perfect finished piece to the editor of Inc. magazine. And now it's a no-work proposition, right? They look at this like, oh, yep, wow, yeah, hold on. This meets my criteria. This is up to my standards. And then the editor gets to avoid the one thing that they're most upset about in life, which is an inbox slammed with pitches, because what landed in their inbox, it wasn't a pitch, it was a product. It was a finished product. But they can accept it. It looks good. They're looking at it. There were no variables. There were no question marks. They didn't have to wonder if this would be good. They're seeing it. It's in front of them, and it looks great. So consider that. For modern day digital PR, pitch a complete piece.
Yep. I mean, Aaron's so good at what he does, and he's obviously done his homework before he asks, and his writing chops are off the charts. So he's not batting 1,000, but he's batting high, and I do that too. And I my batting average is pretty good. And then if that's me on the receiving end as the the person vetting the content, I could probably decide whether they did something useful to me in about 10 seconds later. I'm gonna like the headline's good, that would hook my readers, and the lead's good. I'll probably read the entire piece, but because you wrote the entire piece, I don't have questions. I don't have to chase you around the internet. I don't have to go, look at your crappy LinkedIn profile that you haven't updated since you signed up 10 years ago. So yeah, I love that. I think, that kills it. I think I've mentioned on our show before, sometimes I even offer that I've done keyword research for them. So, not only is the piece and this is going to work, you're going to rank for it. I'm like,
yeah, going to rank for travel photography.
All right. In a couple of weeks, we'll do Content Matters again. Perhaps we won't be so cranky, and we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about?
Metrics, numbers, data.
Yeah, the reason Andy Crestodina is such a sought-after speaker. We're going to talk about analytics, but it's not just going to have Andy's incredible wisdom. It's going to have me trying to make it dummy-proof, because I'm not as analytical as Andy, and I wrote a post that we'll share with you on Orbit when the time comes about how to just measure basic stuff.
It's going to take a little time.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, audience, and talk to you soon, Andy.